I've got dreams on my gravestone, no flowers to be found. I keep screaming, shouting, this is my battleground. Though I'm trapped inside the mind of a dreamer, my fears can't hold me down.
Hi guys, hope that you're well. Welcome back to the channel. This is where we look at my table tennis, my progress, everything that I do to try and improve a little bit, and then hopefully if you know, the things that I'm working on are helping me to improve, which they are most of the time, then it'll help you guys to get a little bit better as well. So I like to share my matches and the training that I do. But today I've got a match vlog for you. This is going to be quite an interesting one actually. So it's going to be a double header. So I'm going to be doubling up basically and playing two matches tonight. So the first match I'm going to be playing in the Trafford League against Flixton Pumas. Then I'm going to be jumping in my car, hot-footing it over to Bolton to play against Little Lever in the Bolton Handicap Cup semi-final. So it's going to be quite a hectic night all in all. It means that I'm going to get to play 6 matches though, so that's pretty good. So as a general rule, I'm not really a big fan of doubling up, you know, playing more than one match in a night, because I think for me a match night is not only about the matches that you play yourself, it's also about supporting your teammates, watching your teammates, giving them a little bit of help as well if they're struggling, giving some advice. Yeah, just like I say, just generally, you know, watching, supporting your teammates and having quite a nice social night, and then maybe having a drink or so afterwards. I always seem to feel that when, you know, you see other players that are doubling up, it can sometimes affect the flow of a match night, which I'm not a big fan of. And it always feels like people they're in a bit of a hurry and a bit of a rush to kind of like either, you know, get to somewhere, or they're rushing arriving from somewhere. But it's one of those, it's a bit of a needs must sort of situation at the moment, because in Trafford we're sort of like for fighting against relegation, so we need all the points that we can get. And I think we've been struggling to get a team out for tonight against Flixton. Flixton are a very, very good side. They're third in the table at the moment, so they're quite a few places above us, unfortunately. Team for them, I don't know for definite, but they've got some really good players. They've got Adam Thompson, who I know very well, Barry Elliott, Vitali, who isn't he's a very, very good chopper, but he's got a good forehand as well. Uses long pips on his backhand. Raphael, Ash Gupta. So they've got some really good players there. So whoever they decide to put out, that's going to be it's going to be pretty tough. And then Little Lever in Bolton. I don't know a huge amount about the Bolton League. I know that the team that we're playing, the Little Lever A, I think it is, are in the Bolton Prem. So if it's any team in the Bolton Prem, they're going to be really good. We've got a chap called Graham Jeffries that plays for them, who is supposed to be really, really good. I'm not really sure who else plays for them actually, but I know that there's going to be some really good matches. So yeah, it's going to be just a bit of a needs must. I think in Bolton as well, we've struggled. I mean, we had a league match last night, and we only ended up putting 2 players out for that, which was a real shame, because we were trying to push to win Division 1. I think it's going to mean that we're going to finish second, which is still, you know, it's still pretty good, and we'll hopefully get promoted for next season, so that's good. But yeah, obviously it was just a shame that we could only put 2 players out, and it basically, if I didn't play tonight, it'd almost be a similar sort of situation, that we'd only be putting 2 players out. Yeah, no, really looking forward to it actually. I'll show you everything that kind of goes on around the matches. I'm going to show you the warm-up, get into the venues, then obviously making our way across over to, so starting off in Flixton, making our way over to Little Lever. I'll give you like a little bit of a summary of each match as I play it, just a few highlights of the points and everything, and then I'll give you a bit of a summary at the end as to how I've gotten on. So let's see how we go. So the first stop of the night is at Hayes Grove, which is in Timperley. It's my home club when I play in the Trafford League. It's a really nice little club actually, and one of the great things about it is that it's got a dedicated table tennis room, so it's nearly always set up with a table in there. So if we've got and obviously a home match, we'll go down a bit earlier and warm up, but if we've got an away match, we can actually go down and use the room beforehand. I always try to do this if I can and if I've got enough time, just providing that I've finished work early enough and whatnot. But I think for me personally, I think there's nothing worse than just turning up to a match, having a quick forehand to forehand, backhand to backhand, and then trying to get straight into the match. It just does not suit me whatsoever. I need to warm up both forehand and backhand, driving, looping, open ups, movements, and then also my serving as well. I do find that if I'm really cold, I just find that the quality of my serves, which are not always amazing at the best of times, but if I've not hit any at all, I just can't quite get the feel for it, and they end up they're just not quite how I want them to be. They can be a little bit high, a little bit too long. I'm not fast enough if I want to do a fast serve. So yeah, this is a really useful facility to have, and also I do highly recommend it to everybody to warm up as best as you can before playing a match. So for the first of my 6 matches tonight, it's a bit of a baptism of fire. Stephen Scowcroft, who is well renowned as being one of the best local league players in the Northwest. I've never actually played him myself, but I know of him. I've seen bits and pieces of him play on YouTube. As you can see here, one of the first sort of things I was struggling with a little bit was warming up against his short pimples on his backhand. You can see that he actually had to change to use his forehand for me to just be able to get a rally. And the very first point there, push it, and he absolutely ripped it past me. So I actually got off to a really nice start in this match. You can see there that he hit a lovely forehand into his backhand corner. He spins it up with his pimples, puts it sort of back to me, and then I rip it in exactly the same place. So the first sort of few shots I'd actually get in with my forehand and win the points, but with him being such a top player, he kind of adapts to this very quickly, and he starts to anticipate, and you can see there he was ready to block that as I played it into him. And this point it follows a very similar pattern actually. Spins it up, I counter it, but then he just blocks it straight back past me. So literally within 2 or 3 shots he was anticipating what I was going to do. And then the match kind of started to get away from me a little bit. I felt that I started to struggle more and more with the serves. This backhand was just giving me absolute nightmares because the pimples are it's sort of flat and fairly dead. That was a nice one. He served long into my forehand, but that was one of the only points really that kind of like I won outright in that particular game. They're lovely backhand, and that's one of the most difficult things I think with playing somebody with short pimples, is that some of the shots have got a decent amount of spin on it, and then other ones are completely flat. Exactly the same there. Block to my backhand, couldn't really do anything with it. Tried to counter that, too much spin, so fully expected this. Really nice, good experience to play against someone as good as Stephen. Second match of the night is against Ash Gupta. First point here is a real indication of what happened in this match. I struggled a lot with his serves. I've played Ash quite a few times before. He's a very good player actually. He's kind of like a controller, I would say. He's very good at blocking. He likes to sort of like move away from the table a little bit, and he's quite happy for you to be aggressive and sort of like, kind of block and counter what you're doing. you can see here, for example, I mean, I actually hit a really, really nice shot there, but I mean, I put a lot of spin on my forehand, and it wasn't really giving him an awful lot of problems. There weren't many times, for example, that he would actually block it off the end of the table. This was lovely, and it was poor on my point because I just kept looping it to the same place. I need to move it around a little bit more. That was a lovely backhand there, actually. Really, really nice. So yeah, this game started off well. I took the first game, and then again, sort of similar sort of theme through the 3 matches against Flixton, where I just sort of felt that they started to get away from me a little bit. This was lovely. Really, really nice little shot there. He was apologising for it. I don't know why, because it was a great shot. But I think that what I've got to get a little bit better at when I'm playing against somebody like Ash is that I've just got to place the ball a little bit better. You know, constantly placing it to the middle of the table against a good blocker just isn't really good enough, because you see there, that's a great example. As soon as I go wide, I win the point. So yeah, there's a few things that I kind of need to work on here. I feel that the main problem that I had in this game though was I just didn't return his serves well enough. So that's something that I definitely need to practice a little bit more. So my final match of the first part of the night against Flixton was against Adam Thompson. I know Adam very, very well actually, and I always enjoy playing against him. You can see there he's got an excellent forehand, very, very strong. I think that the main area that I have an opportunity to sort of like exploit him is his backhand side. He has got a nice backhand, but he doesn't really use it a huge amount. He's more of a controller with it really, so he will push and he will block a lot. He doesn't tend to be overly aggressive. So this was something that I was kind of conscious of, but I don't think I really kind of exploited it enough. What Adam tends to do as well, the way that he plays, he's got very, very good serve. So he has a very, very heavy backspin, and he has a very, very heavy side and top. I feel that what Adam did really, really well in this game, that was better than when I played him a few months ago, when I actually managed to beat him at Hayes Grove, is that he serves shorter. So he would normally serve a little bit longer, which would allow me to get in and loop. But in this particular game here, he served a lot more short and tight, so it forced me to sort of like have to push and have to flick a little bit, just like there. Then that gives him the opportunity to get in. I think that the one part of my game that has definitely improved has been my blocking. You can see there that this is the type of rally that a year ago I'd have definitely lost that, but I actually managed to stay in it, and I got very lucky there. I ended up getting an edge right at the very end. But yeah, what Adam tends to do as well is that he moves me consistently sort of like left and right. So it's an almost predictable pattern of play, but he does it extremely well, and it catches me out, especially if I have to move wide over to the to play a shot with my forehand and then move back over to the backhand side. That is a little bit of a weakness of mine, definitely. I don't move over to the backhand side and play it particularly well. It's something I've noticed when I play doubles too. I got very lucky there actually. This was a really good game because it was played in quite a nice sort of like a nice spirit. Like we both wanted to win it, but we were having a bit of a laugh as well. You can see there again, it was like very, very heavy spin, and the heavy spin from the serve caused the ball to kick in the very next one, which is why I struggled with it. Lovely counter in there, a good part of my game that's come on significantly, but yeah, it just wasn't quite good enough in this game. I ended up losing it 3-1, but Adam did play very, very well, and like I say, he's a difficult opponent to play because he can control the ball well, and then when he gets the opportunity he can really thunder his forehand. So not the easiest start to the night there really. As you can see, we lost it 10-0. It wasn't too much of a surprise. I think our attitude was that if we could have picked up even 1 or 2 points, it would have been a bonus. So Perhaps a little bit disappointed from my own perspective, but it is what it is. Didn't have much time to dwell on it because I had to get straight over to Little Lever. So this was going to be a handicap cup semi-final match. The way that this works in Bolton is that you play against, obviously there's 3 on their team, which is fairly standard, but you play 4 games against each player, first to 11, and then there is an overall team handicap. So the idea really is that you're just trying to pick up as many points as you possibly can. The actual winning and losing the games doesn't matter, it's how many individual points that you pick up. So quite a good fun format, and we did have a good laugh actually in this match. So the first match for me in this semi-final and the 4th match of the evening is against Brian Oldfield. I've met Brian a couple of times before, played him in the Cheshire and Lancashire Vets League. Very, very good, very solid player. I've lost to him both times that I've played him. Stays quite close to the table. As you can see here, he's quite good at blocking and countering. He's got quite an unusual style in that he doesn't tend to loop. He sort of tends to do like a bit of a chop sort of smash from his forehand, which is quite a bizarre shot really. And you can see he's really, really he's good and he's fast on his backhand as well. So yeah, and that was a really nice forehand there that he played. So sort of like a tricky guy to play against. These some of the older guys who are a little bit unorthodox can be tricky to play because the ball's coming at you at a different angle and a different speed to what you're used to normally. His serving, as you can see here, they were very, very good actually. They were sort of like quite short and kicking a little bit, but Joseph just sort of said to me to try and be more aggressive with them, and you can see there that I actually decided to open that one, and then here play a really, really nice flick and I win both of those points. So that really kind of set me up for doing a little bit better. I mean, you can see there that wasn't the be all and end all because he could return a more aggressive flick. So I really had to be on my toes and I had to just be as aggressive as I could. I did one of the little plays there which is serve long cross court, wait for the return and then attack it with my forehand. That was a really, really nice kind of reaction shot, a little bit fortunate, but got the job done. So yeah, I found that just being slightly more aggressive with the service returns allowed me to get into the rallies and kind of control the points, and I did feel that like if I could get in and attack him, I had a really good chance of winning it. So the third left-hander of the evening here, Sam Jeffries. He's a good little player actually. I've never met him before, never played him before, so I didn't really know what to expect. You just always tend to find with left-handers that you've just got to be really, really careful because the ball is obviously coming at you from a different angle to what you're used to normally. That was a lovely backhand flick there, I was not expecting that at all. This kind of cut me out a little bit as well, this sort of serve. I was finding that I was either popping off the end of the table, or as you can see there, I just kind of like rolled it back perfectly for him to just absolutely smash his forehand. And you can see he was very, very good. Anything that was kind of loose, he would put it away. I think again, the main thing here, I mean, I feel like I serve quite well. That was really nice back and open up actually. I feel like I'm starting to get like a little bit better in terms of my serving. I'm starting to use more of like a pendulum style serve rather than using my jab serve all the time. So starting to get like a decent amount of backspin on them, which is sort of forcing my opponent to push a little bit more, which then allows me to do a forehand open up, which is probably like the strongest shot that I've got. Obviously my backhand open up is coming along quite nicely as well, so that sort of push ball is really, really important for me. But there was lots of good play here. You can see there that again, similar to what I mentioned against Ash, I was just looping it to the middle of the table. That allowed him to stay in the same place and control the point. Yeah, again, I always find this kind of play difficult because obviously, like I say, left-handed, but then staying quite close to the table a lot of the time. So, if I'm looping, he's blocking it back very, very quickly. That was absolutely wild. That was just one of those, I just thought I'd go for it, and I thought it might look quite good on our highlights reel if it went on. Unfortunately, didn't work out this time. But no, this was a really, really good game actually. It was pretty tight all the way through. We ended up finishing 2-2. Yeah, it was a great game. I really enjoyed this. He was a really good lad as well. So the final match of the night for me and for the overall match as well was against Graham Jeffries. Again, I've never met Graham before, but I have heard that he's one of the stronger players in Bolton. Actually, he's very, very good. So I didn't really know what to expect. Again, I was trying to be as aggressive as I could, just try and play my usual game, just get in an attack. I would say that what Graham did particularly well is that he's got a fairly slow bat, so he can control the ball very well. He's quite comfortable to move away from the table. He's quite good at defending, and obviously what worked really, really well for me in this was to get him very, very wide to his backhand side, and then go wide to forehand like there. But I think he just couldn't seem to move across that well. Obviously, it seemed to slip a little bit there actually. But yeah, so this was a game that I felt like I played quite well, and there were some really, really good rallies. But I always felt that Graham's kind of like in control. Say he's just very, very good, very like in control, very solid player all round really. And again, the slower bat that he was using allowed him to block my shots very well. Again, I think learning points from this really would be that placement is absolutely key. If I did anything that was like too much to the middle of the table, then it just wasn't going to be good enough. Again, that shot. I mean, I think that wide to the forearm must have won me 7 or 8 points at least in this match. So it was really, really effective. But yeah, it was a really good game. But like I say, I always felt that Graham was in control, and as the game went on, he seemed to get more and more comfortable. And even though I didn't feel like I was a million miles away from him, I was never going to be able to beat him. So good match, and no disgrace at all in losing to someone of Graham's quality. So a great night of table tennis all in all. As you can see there, that we ended up winning 407 to 329. This was largely due to the decent handicap that we had, but also my teammates as well. Joseph and Ahmet both played really, really well. So we've got the final, which is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks' time against Flixton. Really excited about that. It's been a great night. Yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it. Lots of learning points, lots that I need to improve on. I'll see you again soon. Thanks, guys.